Have you ever stopped to think about what truly determines how well you'll be living in your 70s, 80s, or even beyond? Maybe you've noticed that some folks in their late years still appear full of vitality, easily walking around the neighborhood or tending to their gardens with minimal effort, while others begin to slow down drastically, relying more on walking aids or even facing frequent health setbacks. Perhaps you've caught yourself wondering, which side of that fence will I end up on? If these thoughts sound familiar, then stick around. In this video, I'm going to share 7 revealing signs that can offer a glimpse into how long and how vibrantly you might live once you've crossed the milestone of 70. These signs aren't random guesses or wives' tales. They reflect patterns observed by health experts and longevity researchers over decades of studies. Before we dive into the first sign, let me ask you, do you ever wake up feeling unsure about your energy levels for the day? Or maybe you've noticed little hints, like a weaker handshake or difficulty standing up from a chair without using your hands, that make you question whether you're in the best shape possible? If so, don't be alarmed. The beauty of these 7 indicators is that, unlike fixed genetic traits, many of them can be improved with the right approach. That means it's never too late to make small changes that can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. Keep watching because you might be surprised by how some very simple adjustments in your daily routine can lead to long-term benefits. Let's begin with the first sign. Sign number 1, the subtle indicator of balance. Have you ever tried standing on one foot without holding on to anything? Go ahead, imagine yourself doing it right now, perhaps in your living room or kitchen. Picture lifting your dominant foot a few inches off the ground. Can you remain steady for a full 10 seconds, maybe even 15? If you start wobbling, flailing your arms, or immediately looking for something to hold on to, that might be your body's way of sending you a message. Researchers have long noted that balance is a strong predictor of longevity and overall wellness. Good balance relies on a healthy interplay between muscle strength, vision, inner ear function, and neurological pathways that help you stabilize. When one of those factors declines, it often shows up first in your ability to stand upright without swaying. Now, if this test sounds intimidating, don't worry. You can improve your balance through specific exercises like Tai Chi, yoga, or even practicing standing on one foot for short periods each day. The more you challenge your sense of equilibrium, the more your body adapts to stay steady. This improvement doesn't just decrease the likelihood of falls, one of the most common injury risks for older adults, but also helps keep your mind sharp, as balance training stimulates the brain. So if you find yourself swaying as you lift your foot, consider it a friendly nudge to work on stability. That effort alone might give you the confidence and independence to move around freely, potentially adding quality years to your life. Sign number 2, the grip strength gauge. Let's move on to something you might have never connected with life expectancy. Your handshake. Remember the days when you'd greet friends and family with a firm grip, maybe even surprising a few people with how strong your hands felt? Over time, you may have found yourself loosening that handshake or struggling to open jars that used to be easy. Grip strength is an intriguing measure of overall muscle health. Some studies suggest that a decline in grip can be a red flag signaling lower muscle mass throughout the body and potentially an elevated risk for chronic diseases. The great news is that, just like balance, grip strength can be regained. Simple exercises such as squeezing a stress ball, using hand grip trainers, or even doing light weightlifting can help restore that firmness in your handshake. Think of it this way. If your hands are strong, you're far more likely to stay active, carry groceries with ease, and maintain independence. And staying physically active is closely linked with better heart health, more stable blood sugar, and even improved brain function as you age. So if you notice your hands are feeling weaker, don't ignore that sign. Start giving them a little extra workout. Over time, you might notice you're not just opening jars more easily, but you're also finding new energy for tasks all around the house. Sign number 3, the telltale walking pace. Ever been out with a group of friends or family and realize you're either several steps ahead or lagging behind everyone else? Our walking speed can speak volumes about our overall health. A brisk, confident stride often indicates that your cardiovascular system is in decent shape. Your leg muscles are strong enough to support you, and your coordination is on point. On the flip side, if your pace has noticeably slowed in recent years, or you find yourself struggling to keep up without feeling winded, That might be your body alerting you to underlying issues. Let's think about the mechanics of walking for a moment. It's not just your legs propelling you forward. It's also your heart pumping blood, your lungs supplying oxygen, your brain coordinating each muscle group, and your bones providing structure and support. If any of those elements are weakening, you'll likely feel the impact in your stride. That's why experts often measure gait speed as a vital component in health assessments for older adults. The question is, what can you do if you're slowing down? Start with short daily walks, adding a bit more distance or an extra hill every few days. Even a casual stroll around your neighborhood can help build endurance. And if you're aiming to keep up with your grandchildren or older relatives who still move like they're 40, consider adding simple leg strengthening exercises. Stronger legs, paired with a healthier heart, mean you'll keep that confident stride going for years to come. Now, a quick note. If you're finding these insights useful, let me know by continuing to watch. Every single minute you stay engaged helps reinforce that you're proactive about your health, and it encourages me to keep sharing crucial tips. Plus, we have only just begun exploring the many ways your body might be tipping you off about your future well-being. So be sure to watch until the very end. You might be overlooking small habits that could significantly shape your life in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Sign number 4, the power of restful sleep. Think back to your younger days, maybe your 20s or 30s. How did you sleep then? Perhaps you could drift off easily, sleep through the night, and wake up refreshed. Now that you're older, have things changed? Maybe you find it harder to get comfortable, or you're waking up multiple times a night. Sleep is far more than just downtime. It's a period where your body and mind repair themselves. Quality sleep helps stabilize blood pressure, supports immune function, and even clears out toxins in the brain associated with cognitive decline. If you're tossing and turning, you're not alone. Insomnia and fragmented sleep are common in older adults, but it's crucial to address these issues because chronic poor sleep has been linked to heart problems, mood disturbances, and diminished concentration. Consider small steps like limiting caffeine intake later in the day, avoiding screens right before bed, and establishing a consistent bedtime routine. You might also explore relaxation techniques or gentle evening stretches. The key is to recognize that your sleep quality directly affects how energized and resilient you'll be in the years ahead. Treat your sleep like the essential pillar of health it is, and you might be amazed at how much brighter and more capable you feel each day. Sign number 5, appetite and eating patterns. Have you ever noticed a sudden drop in your appetite? Or maybe you aren't enjoying meals the way you used to? Perhaps you fill up quickly, skip breakfast, or rely more on snacks than real meals. While appetite naturally fluctuates with age, a long-term decrease can be a red flag. Good nutrition is the bedrock of maintaining muscle mass, bone strength, and a robust immune system, especially when you're over 70. Think of your body like a car that needs the right fuel to keep running smoothly. Without enough protein, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals, you risk depleting your reserves. This can lead to weakened muscles, mood changes, and reduced energy. If you notice you're eating less or defaulting to processed convenience foods, it might be time for a nutritional checkup. You don't necessarily need a gourmet chef or expensive supplements. Start by prioritizing whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats from sources like avocados or nuts. And if you find yourself lacking appetite entirely, don't brush it off. Mention it to a healthcare professional. Early intervention can prevent a host of complications down the line. After all, if your body isn't getting enough quality fuel, how can you expect it to keep going for another 10 or 20 years? Sign number 6, the influence of stress and emotional well-being. Let's face it, life can throw curveballs at any age, and stress doesn't magically disappear once we retire or slow down our work schedule. In fact, older adults often face new sources of worry, whether it's health concerns, financial challenges, or shifts in family dynamics. Chronic stress isn't just a mental burden, it's a physical one too. Prolonged stress has been linked to high blood pressure, decreased immune response, and even faster aging at a cellular level. But here's the empowering part. Stress management is something you can learn. Techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, or gentle exercise such as stretching or Tai Chi can go a long way. Also, social interaction plays a huge role in buffering stress. Chatting with friends, sharing stories with relatives, or engaging in group activities helps remind you that you're not alone in facing life's hurdles. Sometimes simply talking about what's bothering you can reduce its intensity. Take a moment to reflect on whether stress might be quietly eroding your sense of well-being. If so, consider making a dedicated effort to incorporate relaxation strategies into your daily routine. Not only will you feel better, but you'll also be doing your body a huge favor in terms of longevity. Sign number 7, the value of strong social ties. How often do you talk to your friends? Do you have family members you see regularly or neighbors you can chat with? As we age, maintaining social connections can become more challenging, but it also becomes more vital than ever. Loneliness and isolation have been linked to higher risks of depression, heart disease, and even mortality. In contrast, older adults who keep up an active social network often experience better overall health and a happier outlook on life. Remember those weekend gatherings you might have had when you were younger, full of laughter and conversation? Staying socially engaged in your later years can replicate that positive effect. Social interaction stimulates your mind, boosts mood-related chemicals in your brain, and provides a safety net of emotional support. It's not about going out every night or hosting large parties. It's about having consistent, meaningful connections. This could be as simple as a weekly phone call with an old friend, attending community events, or volunteering in local programs. The key is to stay involved, keep sharing stories, keep forming memories. When you're emotionally supported, your mind is sharper and your body more resilient, which directly impacts how well you'll age. Reflecting on your own life. Now that we've talked about these 7 signs, balance, grip strength, walking pace, sleep quality, appetite, stress management, and social connections, how are you feeling about each one? Maybe you're strong in certain areas, but see room for improvement in others. Or perhaps you discovered something new that resonates with your recent experiences. The important thing is that these signs aren't set in stone. If you realize your balance is off, you can work on it. If you're feeling isolated, you can seek out new connections. Our bodies and minds are incredibly adaptive, even in later life, provided we give them the right stimuli and support. Imagine a scenario where you notice your walking speed has dropped over the last year. You could decide to start a modest walking group with a few friends or neighbors, turning daily exercise into an opportunity for social interaction. Suddenly, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, improving your cardiovascular health and reinforcing your social ties. Over time, you might see improvements in stamina, mood, and a sense of connection. That kind of positive feedback loop is precisely how many older adults manage to stay vibrant well into their 80s or 90s. Small changes, big impact. Don't let the magnitude of these changes overwhelm you. You don't need to rewrite your entire lifestyle overnight. Instead, pick 1 or 2 areas that feel most important or urgent. Maybe start by focusing on getting consistently better sleep and adding a short balanced routine to your mornings. Or maybe you'd rather tackle stress management and social connections first. Think of these shifts like building blocks for a healthier, more fulfilling future. The key is consistency. Small, deliberate actions taken regularly can accumulate into significant results over time. You might be wondering, but isn't it too late for me if I'm already past 70? Absolutely not. Studies abound that show even older adults well into their 70s and 80s can benefit enormously from physical exercise, improved nutrition, and social involvement. Bodies that have been sedentary for years can still gain muscle mass and better mobility. Minds dulled by loneliness can become reinvigorated through conversation and new experiences. If you're watching this and thinking about where to begin, just remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. A practical example, meet George. Let's take a moment to look at a hypothetical example. Meet George, who's 72 and recently realized he was struggling with some day-to-day tasks. He found it harder to carry groceries, and his sleep was constantly interrupted by aches and worries. After watching a video similar to this one, he decided to make small changes. First, he did a balance test. He could barely stand on one leg for more than a few seconds. Determined to improve, George practiced every morning, taking safety precautions by standing near a wall. Slowly but surely, he progressed to holding that stance for 10 seconds. Next, he tackled his grip strength, using a simple tennis ball to squeeze during TV commercials. Gradually, he noticed it became easier to open jars. He also took short walks around the block twice a day, picking up the pace a little each time. Before, he would have found that idea unappealing, but he gave it a try. In less than a month, George felt more confident in his stride and even decided to join a neighbor on longer walks in the local park. George recognized that his sleep was too fragmented, so he started a bedtime routine. No large meals after 7 p.m., a cup of calming herbal tea, and minimal screen time late at night. Within a few weeks, his nights grew more restful. As he regained energy, he also began calling a few old friends, reconnecting after years of limited contact. These calls quickly became a highlight of his day. The moral of George's story? Even small, steady steps can revitalize your sense of purpose and physical abilities. By paying attention to the signs and taking constructive actions, you too can carve out a brighter, more active future. Your personalized roadmap. As you evaluate your own situation, you might find that one sign or another stands out as particularly concerning. Perhaps you see yourself in George's early struggles or recognize that your social life could use a boost. It's helpful to jot down your observations in a simple journal or notebook. For instance, write, balance, can stand 5 seconds on right leg, 3 on left leg, sleep, restless, waking up 2-3 times, appetite, moderate, but skipping breakfast. By documenting this baseline, you can track your progress and see real improvements, which can be motivating. And please don't forget to celebrate small wins. Did you manage to stand for an extra second on that balancing exercise? That's progress. Did you sleep through the night without waking up once last week? Another victory. Real change happens through consistency, patience, and a willingness to learn from both successes and setbacks. Additional suggestions for each sign. While the 7 indicators we've discussed are fairly straightforward, here are a few extra tips. 1. Balance. If standing on one foot is challenging, try simpler exercises first. For example, practice rising on your toes and then rocking back on your heels. If you do yoga, poses like the tree pose can dramatically help you stay steady. 2. Grip strength. Consider keeping a small squishy ball near your TV chair or on your desk. Each time a commercial break hits or you're listening to a podcast, do a few squeezes. These small, mindful practices accumulate over days and weeks. 3. Walking pace. Track your daily steps with a simple pedometer or smartphone app. Gradually increase your step count. If the weather is challenging, consider walking inside a local mall or a larger store for some climate-controlled movement. 4. Sleep quality. Make your bedroom a sanctuary. Limit noise, keep the room slightly cooler, and dim bright lights in the hour before bed. If you have racing thoughts, try writing them down in a worry journal before turning in. 5. Appetite and nutrition. If you're short on energy to cook, look into simple, healthy meal services or batch cooking on a good day so you have leftovers. Also, eating with others, even occasionally, can stimulate appetite and make mealtime more enjoyable. 6. Stress management. Try quick breathing exercises. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4 again. Doing this for just a minute can calm your mind significantly. 7. Social connections. Consider joining a local senior center or a community class that aligns with a hobby you enjoy. If mobility is an issue, phone calls and video chats can still keep you engaged and emotionally supported. Why it all matters. You might be thinking, I'm in my 70s. Why worry about all this now? Here's the secret. The upcoming years of your life can still be filled with tremendous joy, activity, and personal growth. Science shows that many of the health challenges people experience in old age aren't just a result of the number of candles on their birthday cake, but how effectively they've cared for their bodies and minds. By giving attention to these 7 key areas, you're laying a foundation that could help you avoid falls, maintain a positive mood, and spend more quality time doing what you love with the people you care about. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. No one expects you to start training for a marathon or become a gourmet chef overnight. The goal is to ensure that each day you're making at least one conscious choice that supports your health, whether that's an extra walk, a nutritious meal, or a moment of heartfelt connection. Over the course of months and years, these choices can dramatically alter the trajectory of your life. Final thoughts, taking the next step. If you've made it this far, I'd like to congratulate you on taking an active interest in your well-being. Even if you only implement one tip from this list, you're already ahead of many people who resign themselves to the idea that aging automatically means declining health. It doesn't have to be that way. The power to shape your older years is largely in your own hands. Yes, genetics plays a role, but environment, attitude, and daily habits often play an even bigger part. I encourage you to think about how these 7 signs relate to you personally. Could you benefit from better balance training? Or do you feel your stress levels creeping higher each week? Are you missing the sense of belonging that comes from meaningful social connections? Or is your biggest challenge difficulty sleeping through the night? Identifying your top priority will give you a clear starting point. And don't forget, this journey is far more enjoyable when shared with others. If you found these insights valuable, consider sharing them with friends or family members who might also appreciate a new perspective on healthy aging. Discuss your goals together, compare progress, and celebrate wins. You might be surprised how motivating it is to have a small support system cheering you on. In closing, I want to thank you for giving me some of your precious time today. Your health, your energy levels, and your longevity are incredibly important topics. And by taking steps to improve them, you're investing in the most valuable asset you have, you. Stick around for future videos where we'll dive deeper into the specific exercises and lifestyle changes that can make your 70s and beyond some of the best years of your life. Until then, stay curious, stay active, and remember, every choice you make can pave the way for a longer, healthier, and happier life.